So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for allowing me to be here with you this evening. My name is Edgar Butler Jr. I am a speaker and author of the book, Clarify, Construct, and Control Your Career, as well as a consultant.
The reason for me creating the book, first, the book is actually a professional development book called Clarify, Construct, and Control Your Career. One of the reasons why I actually wrote the book was because in my professional career, I felt that there were certain things that I did to position myself to take full advantage of opportunities that I had within the organizations that I work for. So there was a lot of learning lessons. I made a lot of mistakes coming up. But I also learned from those mistakes and was able to turn things around to where I would say that my professional career is one that, I felt that I've had success in. And I wanted to be able to, tell others about those opportunities and what they can do to avoid some pitfalls and how they can take this information to position themselves to take full advantage of opportunities where they are in their professional career.
So after I got let go from the organization, because I had to realize that when they said, oh, we don't need you anymore, I'm saying, you sure? You sure you want to let me go? They were like, yeah. You don't make the call of who stays here now because your name is not on the building. So I started to realize again, I had to take a different approach. And when my mindset changed, the next company that I went into, I went from being an entry level into leadership within 6 months. Now, I'm not saying that leadership is the pinnacle, but that was my desire.
Part of the story is I went from being fired from a Fortune 500 company
and now hiring people in a Fortune 36 company because I understand my value.
So just to be able to turn that story around and go into it and make something positive out of it, that was something that I felt that I needed to give back to others so they can, again, avoid some of the pitfalls that I've had. And then it was also a way for me to express myself in a different avenue, in a different channel. So as speakers, we look at it as that's our lane of speaking. But now, as you start to look at the aspect of public speaking, a lot of speakers are expressing themselves in different ways. And one of those ways is through writing a book. And so now you're able to reach people through a different channel. And so for me, it was just taking the speaking portion to another level by putting the information in a book and allowing people to consume it in that way. You may not get the chance to actually stand in front of everyone to do the speaking portion, but that doesn't mean that you don't want your message to be heard or that it shouldn't be heard. So this is another way for me to be able to get the message out on that platform by actually writing a book. Social media, I think now, is beauty in it, and there can be some ugly sides to it as well. The beauty in it is the fact that, before social media, you had to actually get out in front of people. You had to find these opportunities for someone to hear about you, for someone to hear your message, for someone to see you, or, you had to have someone record it and hopefully it gets into the hands of the right person. Now, with your story, you can immediately just get up one morning after something has occurred or after something great has happened or a challenge that you went through. You can get up within a matter of minutes or seconds or whatever you want to say and record something and put it out to the world. So in that aspect, I would say that, it's beautiful to be able to instantly be able to get your message out. Because I feel that everyone has a message. It's just the channel by which they choose to share that message with others, or if they choose to share it at all. So social media gives you that opportunity to truly be able to get your message out to the masses with little effort, besides just saying like I can take my phone or wherever I am and I can go ahead and get it out.
People care more today about being in character than having character. People care more today about seeing somebody fall and let me pull out my phone and see how many likes I can get, as opposed to going over and saying, you know what, let me give you a helping hand. People care more today about being on a bus and say, you know what, we don't got no more room, close the door on them, as opposed to say, you look like you had a hard day, come take my seat.
The ugly side of it, I would say, is when you get so caught up in watching the lives of others and not truly understanding whether it's real or not. They're giving you a portion of your life, of their life, to where it seems like, man, they live the perfect life, or like they're on top of the world. But, maybe an hour out of their day, it seems perfect. But what about the other 23 hours in the day where there's some challenges that they face that did not get put in the video? So I think, those are some of, the ugly sides of it. And then now you're putting yourself out there to the world. So even though you may be confident in public speaking, but you open up yourself to, now people are able to, critique and criticize, certain things that you do, certain things that you say, and everyone is not prepared for that. Like, that's not what they got into it for. You get into it for the pats on the back and to inspire and for people to say, oh, you're great and I love your message. But everybody doesn't feel that way. So now you're opening up yourself to those that, just have no regard for, like, critiquing you in a way that's not constructive, right? It's deconstructive. You just have to take, sometimes if you're going to put yourself out there as a public speaker, you have to be willing to take, whether you want to say the good and the bad, or take both sides of it. Key points that I would give someone starting out is take as many opportunities as you can to get out there and speak, to share your message, understanding what your message is. And that's going to be, part of the challenge of becoming a public speaker, is truly understanding what is your message, what is your story, what platform are you going to utilize to get that message out, and then how do you go about developing this as a skill set. So I would say that you want to take all the opportunities that you can when you've been given the opportunity to speak, but not even just in front of others. Recording yourself, utilizing the social media, but then also just continue to hone your craft. Record yourself, go back and watch the videos, develop your story, and understand that your story is still developing. As you continue to go through life, your story is continuing to develop. So how do you continue to bring those pieces together? It's about continuously sharing the story and continuously building on the skill set. So taking every opportunity that you can to share that story, which is going to help you develop your craft, and then just not being afraid to put yourself out there. If you're going to be a public speaker, again, you have to understand that there's going to be some great things about it. You're going to have some people that are going to love you, but then you're also going to have some people that, hey, the message didn't move them in that way, and then you have to truly understand that the message just wasn't for them.
When you are trying to get to a new level within your life, you have to spend less time around people that have what you have. Because if I spend all of my time around the same people and we have the same things and we have the same mindset and the same goals, we'll never change. So I started to spend more time around people that had what I had, the person that had the degree, the person that had the great marriage, the person that had a home. And that's what I started to strive to, because now, since you have those things, you can give me the blueprint. So I started to look at, I had to change my environment, and no disrespect to my friends, but we're on different paths. Someone said just because they came with you don't mean they can go with you. So things had to change. And so I started to look and said, God had a different plan for me.
So I would say just take every opportunity that you can to get out there and share your message, continue to hone your craft. And then also, I would say look for a coach, someone that can help you develop that skill set as well. They can show you pointers. If you're going to be in the public speaking realm, dive all the way in. Go all out into it and really just look to be the best that you can possibly be with your story. Yeah, I've been blessed to say that it's not every message, but I think one of the things that helps me out is because people understand that I'm transparent. Like, I don't stand up and say that I'm the best. I don't stand up and say that my life is perfect. Like, I don't stand up and say, I'm the guru at this. It is just truly me being transparent and sharing, like, my challenges, my failures, my successes. And I think that's what people like, the authenticity. They love the fact that, I am vulnerable. I tell you when I've had struggles. I tell you about my challenges. Like, I'm not afraid to share that part of my life. And I think that is a part of my story. One thing that I have learned is that everybody is not going to accept that. The transparency that I have is the reason why some people bring me in. The transparency that I have is the reason why others don't bring me in, right? It's a double-edged sword. But I have been blessed that because I am so transparent, the messages that I give, I've had quite a few encounters to where people have said that was directly for me. I've had encounters to where, people have come up in tears and said, that's the message that I needed to hear. And some of it is from a personal aspect of, hey, I'm going through this within my life. I was fired before. I'm trying to figure out, how do I get back on my feet? Like, hearing your message of how you went from being fired to now you're doing the hiring for this, like, that's encouraging for them. I've had, young people, which is really something that I think is near and dear to me, when I can have a young, male or young female that comes up and says that this positively impacted their life in a way to where they're going to make some changes now for the better. Like, man, I can't ask for anything more. So some people are moved by different things. They're moved by the money. I'm moved by the fact that people are moved to action. And so I don't know if I can break it down to one particular story, because I think whenever I get that type of response, they're all important to me. They're all number one in my book.
I thank you for allowing me to be here with you today, just to give you some words of encouragement. But again, understand this: you are the author of your own story. Go out and make sure that it's a bestseller. Thank you all.